The full transcript of the secret meeting between Judge Ural Glanville and DA Fani WIllis' team has just been released, guys. Now, as you guys might remember, this is connected to the YSL RICO trial that's been going on for months now. Now, a lot of critics have been calling out the prosecution team for allegedly wasting taxpayer money when they tried to intimidate a key witness. Now, the same was said of Judge Ural Glanville, as he's also facing a lot of backlash for his actions that are connected directly to this case. So Glanville, he basically went nuts when he was told by defense attorney Brian Steele that their secret meeting wasn't so secret. Matter of fact, he even got visibly pissed off and threatened Steele to spend time in jail for not disclosing his source of this information. And so now we got the full transcript. Analysts are believing that the judge is under so much pressure, and he's also trying to prove to Fulton County that he's not corrupt. Also, that he's not working together with Fani WIllis' team. This is what he's trying to prove. And to silence these criticisms, he's now been forced to release the closed door meeting. And I want to say right now that it does not look as if the judge was being impartial here, especially when you find out what the prosecution was telling key witness Kenneth Copeland.
The judge presiding over the YSL trial has released a transcript of the controversial secret meeting with a key witness last month.
That meeting happened in Chief Judge Ural Glanville's chambers and caused outrage from defense attorneys. Fox 5's Christine Spiro is at the live desk with the latest on this. Christine?
Courtney and Russ, in that meeting, prosecutors told Kenneth Copeland if he refused to testify, he could be jailed until all the defendants finished their trials. Now, several other attorneys for Copeland say they weren't present in the meeting because they weren't told about it. They have since pushed to have Judge Glanville removed from the case because of this. Copeland was held in contempt on June 7th, the Friday before the secret meeting on June 10th. He was jailed for refusing to answer prosecutors' questions. At the time, Copeland said he would invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. The released transcript also contains an email from one of Copeland's attorneys accusing prosecutors of endangering his client by forcing him to testify. Prosecutors pushed back on that claim. The transcript also stated prosecutor Adrian Love raised concerns about whether Copeland understood the immunity agreement in exchange for his testimony. The judge told Copeland they wanted to give him the chance to ask questions and clear up any confusion before he was brought to testify. Now, in response, Copeland told Judge Glanville, quote, "I have never been truthful a day in my life. I don't comprehend none of this stuff that's going on." The meeting ended with Copeland finally agreeing to testify.
Without even reading the transcript, many may already say that the Judge Glanville, planned to conspire with Fani WIllis' team. There is no angle here that you can look at where the action can be defended, guys. There are critics that are saying that Judge Glanville should be disbarred and possibly even face criminal charges for what he did. And the same could be said for the prosecution, since it seems as if they were intimidating Mr. Copeland. So what's really frightening is that Copeland admitted that he did not know what was going on. And yet the prosecution successfully got him to testify. Now, this is something that does not make sense here, guys. And even though it looked like they successfully intimidated Copeland, he didn't give him much, if anything at all, through his testimony. Now, we have to remember that DeMonte Kendricks, aka Yak Gotti, he filed a motion with the Georgia Supreme Court. According to him, Deputy District Attorney Simone Hilton allegedly told Copeland that he won't be prosecuted. But in order to do that, Copeland would have to lie on the stand. So Glanville allegedly also coerced Copeland to testify. How crazy is that this is happening in Fulton County, that the judge would coerce a witness to testify? A judge? Really? It just shows you what DA Fani WIllis has done to the justice system over there. Lying is now part of the strategy to win. Now, the Supreme Court, they sent this motion back and basically said that a lower court judge would have to review the motion for removal. And it's now just kind of put on hold. It's put the entire trial on hold, as a matter of fact. This transcript, it's around 55, 56 pages long. So we're gonna go ahead and cover the important parts so as not to kind of waste time. Now, before we begin, by the way, if you haven't already, please take a second, hit the like button for the video. Totally appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing and sharing this video. I really appreciate the love. But I also just want to kind of say that, you know, it's going to be incredibly surprising to see if Judge Glanville is not removed from the case. I mean, he was there when all of this was said, and he's still sticking to his guns that this was a proper ex parte conversation. Proper. Okay. I'd love to see the definition on that. But let's go ahead and get back to what Prosecutor Hilton told Copeland. So she told Copeland that whatever your truth is, she admitted that she's not aware of what the witness planned to say on the stand, but that pleading the fifth, it was going to keep Copeland in custody. And this is the reason, this is actually the message that was made clear to him. It's either he cooperates or they keep him in custody. Now, do any of you guys feel as if this is witness intimidation, possibly coercion? Now, if you recall, this is what defense attorney Brian Steele argued, and it's what set Judge Glanville off in the courtroom. Steele said that the prosecution was intimidating a witness and that the judge was there to oversee it. Now, we all know this is 100% true. Now, what's also crazy here, guys, is the amount of gaslighting that the prosecution is doing. I mean, Copeland, he was trying to recall previous conversations that they had, and the prosecution basically said that he remembers the details wrong. Yep, classic gaslighting for you folks. So there's also this lengthy back and forth about immunity, a motion that Copeland never asked for but was given to by the prosecution. Hilton argued that because they gave him immunity, he had no choice but to testify. The option to plead the fifth is now off the table. I mean, he could still do it, but Judge Glanville made it very clear that he would be in jail until the trial is over. He then said that the only thing keeping Copeland in custody was his refusal to testify. So after asking Copeland if he had any questions, he answered by saying that he doesn't trust anyone in this meeting and that he didn't know what was even going on. So they continued this back and forth, pushing Copeland to testify and that this would keep him out of jail. It even got to a point where Hilton said something absolutely insane, guys. Now, I'm going to go ahead and quote her here because it's driving me a little nuts. Now, this is what she said to Copeland at one point, all right? So, quote, "Get this part through your head. If you don't testify, that is the only thing that is holding you. That is literally the only thing holding you right now is the fact that you keep saying, I'm going to testify," end quote. She then went on to say that if he does testify, he can go home. He can be with his baby for her birthday, see his dogs deliver their babies, and be able to talk to his nephew again. Do you see where they're going here? How much pressure that they're putting on a key witness? So what do you think would have happened if the defense team were there with Copeland? They would probably question the intent of the prosecution and why the judge was just going along with it. And so, guys, this just kind of reeks of corruption, and it's got Fani Willis's office fingerprints all over it. The prosecution team came this short to telling Copeland that it was okay to lie in court. Now, we've got a lot more to talk about when it comes to this case, but we do have to wait until it resumes. Now, the expectation at this point is that Judge Glanville is gone. He should not expect to come back to this case. But what do you guys think? Do any of you feel as if this ex parte meeting was okay, it was proper, or was it an underhanded attempt by the prosecution to get what they want? Now, many are now under the impression that Judge Glanville has never had a fair trial during his stay here in Fulton County, which reminds me of my coverage of Donald Trump's immunity case and how supporters feel as if he's not being treated fairly. Now, I did a previous video where I talked about the historic ruling from the Supreme Court and how things are now shaping up for the former president. But here's a clue, guys. We could be looking at the next president of the United States. So be sure to check that video out. And as always, I really appreciate you guys being here. I want to thank you all so much for hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.